Tonight, breaking now, an arrest over the suspected murder of a young southern suburbs chef found fighting for life after crashing his car.
Also, outrage as freedom is granted to one of South Australia's most evil criminals.
The great debate, the gloves come off as our two major party leaders go head-to-head. Who won the day?
Emergency fuel stocks unlocked as the federal government refuses to rule out petrol rationing.
Plus, how the crisis has sparked a surge in demand for electric vehicles, what buyers need to know.
Exclusive, the $100 million bid to launch a South Aussie astronaut onto the International Space Station.
And an exclusive insight into a Crow's young gun's long road to recovery.
Live from Adelaide, this is 7 News with Rosanna Mangiarelli and Will Goodings.
Good evening. Those stories in a moment, but first there's a major emergency unfolding at Morphettville where a masonette has erupted in flames.
13 firefighters have been battling the blaze on Dalby Avenue, just a block away from Kellett Reserve Oval, where young children have been playing. At this stage, it's unclear if anyone was inside the property when the fire erupted. The two-day manhunt for an aspiring Adelaide chef's suspected killer has ended more than 2,500 kilometres away. Let's go live to police reporter Hannah Ford. Hannah, a Perth man has been arrested.
That's right, Will. And SA Major Crime Detectives are about to apply to extradite the 22-year-old back here to Adelaide to face a charge of murder. 7 News has obtained video of the victim's BMW careering off the road and slamming into a Stobie pole at Morphettvale early on Wednesday morning. Behind the wheel was 24-year-old Caleb Lariano, who, despite the best efforts of paramedics, died at the scene just 100 metres from his home. Police quickly established his injuries were not consistent with a car crash, but rather the result of an earlier assault, declaring his death a major crime. Today, detectives arrested 22-year-old Alan Kiplamo in Perth's northeastern suburbs. He's due to face a WA court any minute now, where SA Police will seek to extradite him to Adelaide. Police believe Caleb's death is linked to a mysterious planned meeting in a Morphettvale park just hours before his death. The reason for that meeting is still under investigation. The accused killer is expected to arrive here with detectives tomorrow night ahead of his first court appearance on Monday. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Hannah. A convicted rapist and murderer has the green light to walk from prison after being granted parole, despite breaching his conditions 9 times. Jonathan Bakewell brutally attacked, then killed 20-year-old Anne-Marie Cullerton in 1988. The victim's sister, Eileen, says he's an evil monster who should remain locked up for life. She's told 7 News her pleas to the Malinowskis government have fallen on deaf ears, but if elected, One Nation's promised to help toughen legislation.
Is on his deathbed, he's dangerous.
It's unclear what date Bakewell will be released. Peter Malinowskis and Ashton Hearn have traded barbs in a fiery state election debate just a week out from polling day.
The underdog Liberal leader holding her own against the Premier and dropping a bold promise to freeze politicians' wages.
A brief moment of civility before a political tug-of-war erupted.
There's more criminals in the parliament from the Liberal Party than there are women. Okay. So,
the Labor leader talking up his party's economic record.
The place is on fire, and it's not an accident. It's because a lot of people in this room have got to work.
But he couldn't hide from the dreaded R-word ramping.
I've been very candid and have apologised the fact that we haven't been able to deliver the reductions.
You haven't said I'm sorry.
We've done it. I've done it plenty of times. And
will you say I'm sorry?
Do you want to do it now?
I have done it before.
Ashton Hearn dropping this bombshell.
If we're elected, we'll be freezing politician salaries for the next 4 years.
Peter Malinowskis unable to match it, instead tearing into the Libs over its campaign cash splash.
It's $5.7 billion.
That figure is completely fanciful.
Well, what's the number then?
Which we've said.
If the number's wrong, tell us the right one.
Don't interrupt me.
Fair enough.
Labor's $50 billion debt bomb was the Liberal leader's next target.
Stop the vanity projects, and you've got to get back to the bread and butter basics of managing your budget.
With early voting kicking off tomorrow, today's debate was the last chance for both leaders to make their case to South Aussies. As for who won the debate, well, there can only be one victor.
Peter Malinauskas, the winner, with 38.25 points.
By a bee's whisker, Ashton Hearn just 2 points behind. Michaela Kamarek, 7 News.
And now for his take on the debate, we're joined by Chief Reporter Mike Smithson.
And Smithos, this could have been a David versus Goliath battle, but the underdog showed plenty of bite.
Well, Rosanna, these debates can be defining moments in campaigns. New Liberal leader Ashton Hearn could have been intimidated by the Mallee machine today, but she wasn't. In fact, her opening salvo was so polished that it appeared to catch the Premier off guard. But he's too quick on his feet to be off his game for long. He knows his audience and he's hammered his policies and topics almost daily as Labor leader for the past 8 years. He's always quick to dampen down dangerous subjects such as ramping, and more recently Labor's atrocious email bungle discrediting the widow of a cancer victim after she raised emotional concerns. The Premier almost hits autopilot when it comes to his pet subjects such as the housing crisis. But Hearn kept her cool with her policy on freezing Polly's pay, a calculated tactic to save taxpayers money.
Will you join me?
Look, I want to thank Nick Xenophon for his question.
Yes, that was a quip suggesting, you know what, a political stunt, but in short, Malinauskas just won the day, but Hearn showed she's no shrinking violet, Rosanna.
All right, thank you, Smitho. The man accused of threatening to kill Crows star Isaac Rankin weeks after he made an on-field homophobic slur has faced court. While denying the allegations, he told 7 News he doesn't think the penalty Rankin received went far enough.
A week out from his return to football, Crow Isaac Rankin hit the training track at West Lakes this morning as the man accused of threatening to kill him was waiting in a courtroom.
Why did you allegedly threaten to kill Isaac Rankin?
I did not.
Police say on the 8th of September last year, 31-year-old Jack Sullivan used a carriage service to make to a person, namely Isaac Rankin, a threat to kill that person, with the intention that the person to whom the threat was made would fear that the threat would be carried out.
Jack, are you a Crows fan?
No, I'm not.
Who do you go for if you're not a Crows fan?
I don't really go for anyone.
Are you a Collingwood supporter?
The date of the alleged offending is just weeks after Isaac Rankin made a homophobic slur towards a Pies player.
Were the alleged messages in response to the homophobic slur? Do you think a 4-game suspension was enough?
No. No, I don't.
Sullivan has parted ways with his original lawyer, saying there was a conflict of interest, so today's hearing has been adjourned until next month. Do you have anything to say to Isaac Rankin now?
Well, no, I don't.
Lauren Rose, 7 News.
There's been another fatality, the 6th on South Australian roads in just 8 days. A teenage driver from Stockwell was killed when his ute towing a trailer slammed into a guardrail on the Northern Expressway at Anglevale. Emergency crews rushed to the scene, but sadly the 18-year-old and sole occupant couldn't be saved. His death comes after what's been a horror week. Only yesterday, police pleaded for South Australians to take better care.
A Craigmore father of 5 who failed to get help for his gravely ill son could walk from jail in less than 2 months. Shane Wanganeen waited for 16 hours before taking his little boy to hospital, but by then it was too late.
Mackay Wanganeen was just 7 when he died in agony in February 2022.
Is there anyone going to speak on behalf of that little boy?
He was hallucinating and semi-conscious, succumbing to pneumonia and treatment-resistant sepsis, his little lungs so badly infected they almost doubled in size. Today, his father, Shane Wanganeen, was jailed for criminal neglect for failing to get Mackay to hospital in time. He's not being held responsible for Mackay's death. Rather, it was a case of failing to act with any urgency, and by that failure, you allowed your son to suffer unnecessarily. The court heard while the little boy was gravely ill, Wanganeen, believing he had constipation, prioritised other less important tasks, including making calls to cash converters. A 7-year-old child is vulnerable to and entitled to expect a high level of care from their parent, adding, "I accept that had you appreciated his life was in danger, you would not have delayed as you did." Wanganeen sobbed throughout the sentence but became inconsolable when the judge said making the decision to turn off Mackay's life support was the hardest thing he's ever had to do. The 53-year-old was jailed for 19 months and given a non-parole period of 10 months. He glanced occasionally at relatives in the public gallery, none of whom were prepared to comment on the outcome. With time served, Wanganeen will be eligible to apply for parole in just under 2 months. Deanna Williams, 7 News.
Australian Border Force officers have discovered boxes of illicit tobacco hidden in a secret underground bunker during a raid at a northern suburb shop. It comes as authorities ramp up their war on illegal tobacco, releasing the findings of a week-long statewide search. More than 350,000 cigarettes have been seized, along with more than 1,000 vaping devices. 15 outlets have been temporarily shut down.
Fuel prices in Adelaide have spiked again, with unleaded now nudging $2.24 a litre at a number of outlets across the city. Adelaide's record high diesel prices have also risen another 10 cents in just 24 hours. It comes as the RAA accuses some servos of overinflating prices at the pump.
Australia will draw on its fuel reserves in an effort to fix shortages brought on by the Middle East conflict. New measures announced today free up hundreds of millions of litres of petrol and diesel.
The Energy Minister acknowledges he's now dealing with a crisis.
There is a war. I think war ticks the boxes of a crisis.
Well, the national crisis is this minister who has been asleep at the wheel.
Chris Bowen ordering fuel importers and refiners release 5 to 6 days of the nation's emergency fuel supply. Diesel stocks down to 2.2 billion litres. The minimum had been 2.7 billion. Petrol down to 700 million litres from the current 1 billion minimum.
I've announced a sensible, calibrated relaxation of the stockpile.
But he says the release will take time, demanding patience from farmers struggling to get tractor fuel and regional stations running dry. Some want fuel rationed in cities to free up supplies for country stations.
It's not that people in the cities won't get fuel, they just have to reduce the amount they're using so there's enough to go around.
If you want to advocate petrol rationing, you're welcome to do that. That is not my intention.
We have called the petrol industry in. We want to set our expectations to them.
The International Energy Agency says Iran's blockage of critical trade artery, the Strait of Hormuz, has now brought on the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. As well, reports suggest the supplier of 1/3 of Australia's aviation fuel, China, has ordered oil refiners there to stop exports. For now, Australia has reserves, but if the war drags on, smaller airports would likely be hit first.
So the potential impact of this in the regions, as we're seeing in other oil products, may be more severe, and it might come a little bit quicker.
Tim Lester, 7 News.
The US military is racing to rescue their own in the Middle East. A large Air Force jet went down over Iraq, and there's no word yet on the crew's fate.
Routine refuelling mid-air. Vital, dangerous, potentially catastrophic.
This breaking news just into CNN. The U.S. military Central Command has confirmed that the U.S. lost a KC-135 refueling plane.
A refueling jet down over western Iraq after a mid-air collision. The second jet landing safely. Rescue efforts ongoing for 6 missing crew. As Iran's seaborne assault on world oil continues. A late-night hit. Celebrated by the Iranian operatives who film then flee. The tankers left burning. At Oman's biggest port, another strike. In Bahrain, a fuel depot ablaze. And Iraq, a British base hit by drones, US personnel injured. Iran is proving difficult. In the capital, crowds gathered for this. The first words from the new Supreme Leader, not in person, but from a statement. Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei declaring he'll keep the Strait of Hormuz closed, destroy every US Middle East base, and take revenge for the deaths of his father, wife, and martyred Minab schoolgirls. But the absence is fueling rumours on his health. Reports he's in a coma, even lost a leg. From Israel's president, I wouldn't issue him life insurance policies, he says. And as Tehran continues to come under attack, an official White House post comparing the strikes to a video game, revealing a total of almost 10,000 targets hit, with nearly 2,000 people killed. In Israel, attempts at retaliation. Here the site of another Hezbollah missile hit. A crater formed and the house behind it completely destroyed. There were more than 100 strikes like this overnight, but Israeli defences are so good not a single death was recorded. It's a very different story in Lebanon. Israel launching another wave of terrifying strikes on Beirut. Its largest to date, 700 so far killed, 800,000 displaced. As international anger grows,
what I see here is a murder attempt.
Israel's former Prime Minister tells 7 News he's unapologetic. You're losing world support.
I'd rather live and be a bit unpopular than be extremely beloved but dead.
But as we're filming, news report, active shooter at the temple. News of the attack on an American synagogue just months after Bondi. And despite fears it will worsen. So for you, it's not going to stop. You're just going to keep going.
Not defending your own people is the most immoral thing possible. Giving in to terror, giving in to murder is cowardness.
The impact's moving well beyond the region.
And Chief Reporter Chris Reason filed this report from Tel Aviv just a short time ago.
Good evening, that's correct. The Islamic resistance in Iraq has now claimed responsibility for the downing of that KC-135 using apparently a surface-to-air missile. Here in Israel, we can show you where the surviving aircraft touched down safely. This airport is where most of those refuelling operations are based. Now, we know that there's a search and rescue operation underway at the moment. It is unknown if any of the crew did manage to survive. Now, CENTCOM, Central Command, has issued a statement saying that the downing of the plane was not a result of either enemy or friendly fire. But what we do know is that these planes often fly blind in very congested conditions down extremely narrow flight paths.
All right, thank you, Chris. Now, if re-elected, Labor's promising to spend more than $19 million to support wildlife and conservation efforts. The Premier's used Clearland Conservation Park as the backdrop for the announcement. It includes $5 million to revitalise rivers and waterways and $800,000 to eradicate feral cats on Kangaroo Island.
Without a natural environment that is in healthy and good condition, we all pay the price.
There are also plans to phase out an additional 18 single-use plastics.
7 News can exclusively reveal an Adelaide company is helping Adelaide astronaut Catherine Bennell-Pegg reach for the stars. Gertie Sperling joins us live with all the details. And Gertie, the mission is to send her to the International Space Station.
Well, local company Nova Systems has made a $1 million commitment to try and make this dream a reality. The aerospace and defence engineering company says if the Australian government agrees to support the mission, it'll provide funding, aircraft access and specialist expertise in engineering and launch safety. Australian of the Year Catherine Bennell-Pegg is the first astronaut trained under the Australian space program, but has not yet been to space. The European Space Agency has, however, requested her to take part in a mission aboard the ISS. Former NASA astronaut Andy Thomas among those leading a campaign for the Albanese government to fund the project. It does come with an eye-watering price tag of $100 million, though. A cool $99, though, if the government does accept this latest offer. Rosanna.
I imagine if that happened, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's check in with Soda now. What's coming up in sport?
Well, huge injury blow at the Power with a key playmaker season all but done due to a shoulder recco. There's also a big call at selection up forward. Speaking of big, Crows bull Dan Curtin is using his rehab time to make his intimidating frame even more imposing. What a unit. And the Australian 400 metre record at risk this weekend with Aidan Murphy in Ripping Nick. Another great unit there as he targets history. All that and plenty more coming up shortly in sport.
Great stuff. We'll catch you then. Thank you, Soda. Now, a Northern Suburbs resident has detained a teenager accused of breaking into cars. Those details next.
Also, the hunt for arsonists who torched a vacant house at Elizabeth North.
You could share in more than $100 million in Qantas customer refunds.
And still ahead, is it the right time for you to make the switch to an EV? A Para Hills resident has nabbed a 15-year-old boy accused of breaking into cars, detaining him until police arrived. He was with a 13-year-old girl when they were caught in the act by the victim's brother.
Taleb Ali Khani was sitting in his car outside his Para Hills home when he spotted two teenagers breaking into his brother's car on Keith Street using a screwdriver.
They tried to open my brother's car. When they opened, I was see. They opened. I have to check it out. What are you doing? What are you guys doing?
The accused youths, completely unaware Taleb was parked behind.
They have a shock. Oh, the guy is still in the car.
Taleb phoned his brother, who ran outside and managed to detain the 15-year-old boy until police arrived.
I just came out to check and I see this neighbor was holding a boy and he went into his car and he took some things, some money and some chain as well.
The 13-year-old girl was arrested on a street nearby by another patrol. Both teenagers have been charged with illegal interference. Police say they attempted to break into multiple cars in the area, including those outside of this home, but nothing was stolen.
There was another incident happened a few weeks ago when these things were stolen from the car window was smashed, and I feel like unsafe here. We're thinking to put some camera or something like that here.
Grace Wallace, 7 News.
Arsonists are believed responsible for an early morning blaze that gutted a vacant house at Elizabeth North. Flames were through the roof when firefighters arrived at the Knighton Road property. They took 30 minutes to extinguish the blaze, made more challenging by the presence of asbestos.
Thousands of Qantas customers will be compensated for the airline's mishandling of COVID flight credits.
The Flying Kangaroo will fork out more than $100 million as part of a class action settlement.
When planes stopped, so too did refunds. 6 years on, it's cost Qantas dearly. The airline agreeing to pay customers $105 million to settle a class action. The equivalent of flying Sydney-Los Angeles business class more than 15,000 times. Lawyers will now decide how the compensation is divided.
For typical customers, these are amounts in the hundreds of dollars, potentially higher for people with larger flight purchases.
If you had a cancelled Qantas flight between January 2020 and November 2022, you're automatically in the class action. The airline knew it was coming and put aside $55 million. The final figure, almost double.
There certainly are other issues that airlines are facing at the moment, which will probably be a bigger financial impact.
The settlement is the last of what the airline calls legacy payouts. Illegal sacking of ground handlers cost $210 million in penalties and compensation. Selling so-called ghost flights that were already cancelled, $120 million. All up, almost $500 million in corporate clangers.
$105 million is a very significant sum, and we're very pleased to have settled the case for that much.
Investors didn't mind. The share price barely moved.
Qantas eventually got rid of expiry dates on all COVID flight credits. Virgin didn't, and about $90 million of those flight credits expire at the end of June.
A similar class action against Jetstar is underway. Blake Johnson, 7 News.
Well, time for a quick check of the weather now with Casey, who joins us from the garden tonight.
And Casey, a perfect weekend is in store to get out and enjoy the fringe atmosphere.
Sure is, Will. And I'm getting a bit of a head start at the Garden's brand new venue, the Glass House, which is fast becoming the go-to venue for any pre-show drinks and nibbles. And there are some stunning food and drink options on offer here as well. There's even a makeshift pool that acts as a sunken dance floor. As you say, though, glorious conditions on this weekend, plenty of warm sunshine on the way, and the mercury is set to climb above 30 degrees on Sunday. But a reminder, it isn't long until the fringe season here at the Garden of Unearthly Delights is over for 2026 with just 2 weekends to go. And I'll be back shortly, guys, with a closer look at the full forecast.
All right, we'll catch you then, Casey. Soaring petrol prices are making more South Aussie motorists consider a green alternative. What are your options? Next.
Also, an off-duty police officer's drunken crash lands him in hot water.
2 teens dead after a crash between an e-bike and a motorcycle.
And ahead, a wild brawl leads to 2 brothers being shot and a police chase. Returning to our lead story now, and witnesses say they heard shattering glass and explosions when fire erupted at a home in Morphettville. Deanna Williams is there for us. D emergency crews are still at the scene.
They are, Rosanna. There's still a lot of police and fire crews here, and they're still trying to determine if there was anyone inside the home at the time. They rushed here at about 4:30 after reports of a fire, lots of smoke coming from a housing trust unit in Dalby Street off Morphett Road. Even the locals who live near the football club around the corner said they could see smoke from there. They rushed around to see what was happening. Let's have a listen to what they had to say.
You can see the flames coming out of the roof and the back door and stuff, and then you can hear like popping, and then you can hear all the glass shattering, and then the flames started to come out through like the front door and stuff.
So fire crews are expected to be here for some time mopping up, and there's still quite a few police cars here. The investigation is still underway, and they're still trying to speak to neighbours, speak to witnesses to see if there was anyone in this home at the time. We'll have more as it comes to hand. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Dee. A police officer's employment's under review after crashing his car while allegedly almost 5 times the legal alcohol limit. Parts of his car were left scattered along the road in Dubbo after he collided with a ute before driving on, bumping into several traffic signs. The 31-year-old senior constable, who was off duty, allegedly blew .232. He's been charged with high-range drink driving.
2 teenagers have been killed after a motorcyclist changed lanes and slammed into their e-bike south of Brisbane. They'd been riding tandem along a dark, semi-rural road without headlights. The 15-year-old girl and 16-year-old boy were thrown from the e-bike and couldn't be saved.
High prices at the Bowser in South Australia are fuelling renewed interest in electric vehicles. With prices starting from just $26,000, advocates claim they cost far less to operate and are cheaper to maintain.
It's the eye-watering price at the Bowser.
It's going crazy, isn't it?
That's pushing motorists to look for greener alternatives.
I think now it's time to do a change.
Electric vehicle popularity has surged over the last fortnight. This BYD dealership says sales have jumped by 50%.
Some of them are saying yes, they're looking at it from an environmental perspective. A lot more are talking about a cost perspective right now.
Straight away see the price from the petrol station. It is stressful.
Even before the Middle East conflict escalated, February was a record month for green machines, with EVs accounting for 11.8% of new car sales. Showrooms like this one now bracing for even greater demand.
There is an appreciation that there is heightened fuel insecurity and people want to switch away from petrol.
And there's now more choice than ever before. Australia's cheapest electric car will set you back around $26,000. But if you're after an SUV, the BYD Atto 2 is the most affordable at $34,000 drive away. The Cherry E5 will cost just under 40 grand, while the Leapmotor B10 rounds out the top 3 most affordable electric SUVs.
There's over 150 models of EVs available.
And on the road, there's money to be saved. Studies show driving a petrol car at current prices will set you back about 22 cents per kilometre. That's compared to 6 cents per kilometre for an electric vehicle charged during peak times.
And it's not just fuel costs you'd be cutting. Retailers say electric vehicles are also cheaper to maintain, requiring less frequent servicing. They claim motorists could save up to $3,000 each year by making the switch.
Probably is a better option for me.
Madison Stanley, 7 News.
Two brothers were shot after a brawl broke out in Sydney, the fight sparking a police chase. Details next.
Also, the shocking moment, two drivers narrowly escape a falling tree branch.
And later, could you join a class action over JB Hi-Fi's extended warranties? Two brothers in their 20s have been shot after a wild 15-person brawl in Sydney overnight. Police were called to the scene in the western suburbs around 10:30 after reports of a fight. The group had fled by the time police arrived, but shortly after, officers pulled over a car seen driving dangerously nearby. The two men, suffering multiple gunshot wounds, were found inside and taken to hospital in a stable condition. No charges have been laid.
Two drivers were just centimetres from disaster when wild winds brought a branch crashing down between their cars.
Holy.
The close call happened on Wednesday afternoon, just north of the Melbourne CBD.
Now, at first glance, it may seem like a phishing scam, but a court's texting Australians about a major class action. Could you join the case over JB Hi-Fi's extended warranties? Don't miss that story a little later in 7 News.
A Melbourne dad's on top of the world after turning a $6 Powerball ticket into, can you believe it, $50 million. He was watching last night's Blues-Tigers game on the couch when the winning numbers dropped. A lifelong renter, he'll finally be able to afford a house, but the humble father plans to stay in his local area and do some community charity work.
Certainly would have made the game a little bit more exciting, wouldn't it? Time for sport now.
Would you go to work the next day?
No chance. I mean, yeah, definitely.
Of course you would.
Of course
Wrong
I would.
answer, Will.
Well, tomorrow's Saturday, so let's not get too upset. Hey, this is a bit of a blow for the Port Adelaide Football Club soda. Our Power Stars had the plug pull on his season.
Over already, just before it started. Really disappointing. He played 20 games last year too. He is going to be sorely missed. All the details coming up. Plus a shake-up at Port in the front half with a couple of youngsters given the nod ahead of one of the club's big names. The injured Crow who's using his injury rehab to grow. And the South Aussie Adonis who's got his eye on the national record in one of athletics' most torturous events. Hello again. Port Adelaide speedster Josh Sinn has been dealt a bitter blow with his season all but over after having a shoulder reconstruction. The former number 12 pick had the operation in Melbourne this morning after being troubled over pre-season. 23-year-old had his best season last year, playing 20 games. Meanwhile, Jack Lukosius has been left out of the team for Sunday's clash with North Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. The Power has instead given Jack Whitlock and Ollie Lord the green light up forward. Crows bull Dan Curtin is using his serious knee injury as a chance to put on even more size. The 21-year-old took a major step forward in his rehab today.
Almost single-handedly carrying the weight of a midfield group desperately in need of internal growth, Dan Curtin's troublesome knee gave way.
In the past, I've had a history of subluxations of my kneecap. A lot of people tend to have that with their shoulders, but I've been having it with my knee. And then, unfortunately, on that day a few weeks ago, my kneecap just fully dislocated, and the decision was to get surgery on it and get it fixed. So, long term, we're looking more from that perspective.
But having already bulked up, the Man Mountain is using the setback to put on even more weight.
Been thinking it's an opportunity to better myself and make sure that when I do get back, I'm coming back bigger and stronger, and ready to take my game to the next level.
That positive outlook has been helped by a surprise turn to TikTok videos. The softly spoken 21-year-old taking advice from a teammate who's no stranger to social media.
Having a chat with Josh Rochelle, and he was saying it's definitely something I should look at. Wasn't sure if it was me, but giving it a go.
Curtin was met with cheers as he ran on grass for the first time since his surgery today. He's hoping to be back by round 8, which just so happens to be a showdown. And you can catch more of that chat with the 21-year-old on The Crow Show, Sunday 3:30 on Channel 7. Josh Money, 7 News.
And for his keys to the Crows' Collingwood clash, here's 7 footy expert Scott Camporelli.
There's nothing like the excitement and build up to round one. Players, coaches and fans have it marked in the calendar and it's finally here. To go out in straight sets after being minor premiers would have burned at West Lakes all summer. The challenge is to get back there and right the wrongs, and that starts this week against Collingwood when your season ends in such a disappointing way after doing so much right. Often the first question to ask is, what do we need to change? I'm glad from what I've watched this pre-season that the Crows holistically are sticking to their guns. It's been a brutal summer of injuries for Adelaide, especially to its midfield stocks. I'm worried the Crows are going to be underdone against a hardened Pies side who won in opening round. With only 40 inside 50s, Collingwood dominated the turnover game in trademark fashion against St Kilda, and the Dacos brothers were instrumental. Nick had 41 and was involved in almost 50% of their scores. The Crows should be tagging Nick, but with who? And if not, can the Crows system absorb his dominance on the game? Adelaide has a very tough draw to start the season. A win in a blockbuster away game would reinstall the faith in the game style.
Good on you, Campo. Now, in the AFLW, Matty Newman will stay in Crows colours for another season under new coach Ryan Davis. The midfielder's also a TikTok star in her spare time, becoming a social media mogul alongside her twin sister Hallie.
From Maddie Newman's highlight reels to TikTok videos.
Like, the season's just started. Like, this is my favourite thing to watch.
Social media game recognises game.
It's kind of just exploded sort of in front of my eyes. When you do something that you love, and obviously that's footy, and also like creating videos and stuff like that. So I think they're kind of my childhood dreams combining.
And those dreams are set to continue, with the TikTok star signing on for another year at the Crows under new coach Ryan Davis.
Just love this club so much, and really excited for this new journey with Ryan. He's a character like Doc, which I think is important because this group has a lot of characters, but he's got a real hard edge to him.
Newman says the pre-season energy is contagious, with the squad once again united by a single goal.
I don't think it matters if we've got a new coach or, some players have left, new players coming in. Yeah, we always keep that same goal, which is to play finals and then ultimately win a premiership.
Honey Howe, 7 News.
Well, it's been 8 long years since the 36ers appeared in an NBL Championship Series. Now they're just one win away from returning to the big time. Co-captain DJ Vasiljevic says the team has the experience and chemistry to rise to the occasion.
It's big for not just the group, but I think the entire city. Obviously, they haven't tasted that sort of success in a very long time. When Bryce has won 3 and I've won 2, I think we kind of have that experience to try and push it, in the right direction. And yeah, we feel like we could win it all.
The Sixers face South East Melbourne at John Cain Arena tomorrow. Well, major winner Hannah Green's right in contention at the Women's Australian Open at Kooyonga. She's 2 back from the leaders at 5 under after a 69 in the second round.
She is on a roll, Hannah Green.
Mangiarelli's a further 4 shots back at 1 under, while Grace Kim just made the cut at 3 over. Rising track star Aidan Murphy has the Australian 400-metre record in his sights in a couple of weeks. The 22-year-old son of sprint legend Tanya Van Heer Murphy recently cracked the 45-second barrier, despite it being his least favourite distance.
Well, my favourite event wouldn't be the 4. I just happen to be really good at it, which is, a good thing and a bad thing. But yeah, the 2-4 double seems to suit me well at the moment.
Yeah, Aidan says the emergence of teen sensation and 200-metre rival Gout has been great for athletics.
Not only is it a good thing, to have more competition out on the track, but it's a good thing in terms of exposure for everyone else that runs around him.
Yeah, Murphy's going to run in the 200 at the Adelaide Invitational, which is live and free on 7plus over the weekend. And tomorrow's one to watch is running at Morphettville. Race 2, number 1, mating call. That is our look at sport. I think after seeing Aidan Murphy, I'm going to swap the pizza for the salad tonight. I've got to go and run.
I think we all need to do a few more sit-ups after that, hey? Thank you, Soda. Now, millions of Australians could be in line for cash back as tech giant JB Hi-Fi's hit with a major class action.
Lawyers claim the retailers sold customers warranty they were already covered for.
It looks suspicious, a text or email asking you to click on a link, but it's not a scam and you're not in trouble. These messages are being sent under orders from the Supreme Court of Victoria as part of a major class action against JB Hi-Fi over extended warranties. Lawyers for Maurice Blackburn claim they were essentially worthless, alleging customers were paying for protections that already existed for free under Australian consumer law. More than 8 million people who bought an extended warranty between 2011 and 2023 are automatically included in the lawsuit and could be eligible for compensation. But if you don't want to take part, you have to opt out by May 29th by going to the Supreme Court of Victoria website. JB Hi-Fi denies the allegations and says it plans to vigorously defend this case. A trial is scheduled to begin later this year.
Well, a talented Adelaide artist is creating some traffic stopping work on northern suburbs bus stops. That's next.
Weather-wise, a warm weekend on the way. Then we could see some showers on Monday. I'll be back with all those details live from the Garden.
The weather now with Casey, who joins us again from Rundle Park.
And Casey, the Garden's pretty full tonight.
Yeah, you can't blame everyone for coming out tonight, Rosanna. It may be overcast, but it is still around 20 degrees after a top today of 23.7. The overnight low, 12.2. And we saw some rather cool mornings across the state. Mount Lofty dropped to just 6 degrees, 8 at Narracourt. Now, a thick band of high cloud has moved in across the south, but skies are remaining dry. Now, we have got a series of high-pressure systems moving through well south of the Bight. However, a trough over inland WA will move through western and northern parts of SA from Sunday into early next week. Plenty of shower activity to come with that system. Interstate tomorrow, Sydney, grey skies and a top of 25. Melbourne, mostly sunny and 24. Darwin, showers and 29. Plenty of sunshine across SA, up to 32 degrees for Roxby Downs, Woomera and Port Augusta. There is a chance, though, for showers and the odd rumble in the very far west. Ceduna, though, staying dry, partly cloudy with a top of 28. Sunny and 31 for Port Pirie, 30 for Renmark and Kadina, 25 for Port Lincoln, up to 29 degrees for Murray Bridge, 23 for Victor Harbour and partly cloudy and 25 for Mount Gambier. Now, a number of flood warnings remain for inland rivers in the wake of recent rains, but a new system on the way early next week means the Bureau has issued a flood watch for parts of the northwest and central districts. For the city, a low of 14, sunny skies tomorrow, heading for 29 up to 30 for Elizabeth. On local waters, east to southeasterly winds about 10 knots, turning south to southwesterly to 15, then southwesterly in the evening up to 20 knots north of Grange, seas around a metre. Looking ahead, mostly sunny and up to 32 degrees Sunday. A cool change for Monday, top of 25 with a high chance of showers. 28 Tuesday, 29 on Wednesday and Thursday, up to 30 on Friday. And before I go, let's take a look at tonight's ray of sunshine. Talented Mount Barker artist Kat Dean has been sprucing up northern suburb streets one bus stop at a time. Commissioned by the Salisbury Council, she's hand-painting 6 shelters in the Ingle Farm and Walkley Heights area featuring native flora and fauna. So beautiful but strategically designed to not distract motorists by using earthy tones. Each masterpiece taking up to 3 hours. 3 hours, I'm pretty sure I need at least 3 days to get anywhere near that kind of beauty, guys.
It took it 3,000 years and I wouldn't. That was spectacular. That is all the news to now. We'll have updates for you throughout the year.
We will, but stay with us as the Bombers take on the Hawks live from the MCG from all the Adelaide 17. For now, it's good night.
Good night.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want every minute of every day, including breaking news alerts. Download the 7 News app now.